Welcome to the Think Factory podcast. We got one question for you. What keeps you up at night?
Welcome back to the Think Factory podcast, powered by OGC Solutions. And today I'm your host, Chris Santomassimo from OGC Solutions. And I'm delighted to host the first three, actually, no, I'm sorry, this is the second time we've had three people on the podcast. But a great group of folks that I want to introduce to the listeners. And they're all friends, which is fantastic for me as well. It's great to be able to speak to and chat with good friends on the podcast. So the quick background is we're going to talk about a couple of things, the Paperboard Packaging Council, as well as TPC packaging. And they all, as you'll see in a minute, they all intersect together. So And one of our guests actually is part of both organizations, so fantastic. So let's start with Hilda Murray, who's the Executive VP and the owner of TPC Packaging. With us also is Emily Lynch. How do you say that, Emily? Lynch?
Yeah, you're good. That's good.
Excellent. I should know better with a name like mine, and people mispronounce it all day long. But Emily is the Executive Director at the Paperboard Packaging Council, also known as PPC. And she's also the vice president there. And then Blaes Green, who's a project manager with TPC, working with Hilda's company. Welcome back welcome to the podcast, I should say.
Thank you for having us. Thank you. So excited.
Yeah. We've spent enough time talking about the podcast. I feel like we've done it before, but this is the first time we're going to record one. And let's be honest, I've been bugging Hilda to get on the podcast for the better part of a year and a half. So I'm glad to finally find some time in your schedule, Hilda. I'm really excited myself, actually, because I have the privilege of being a small part of the upcoming conference that PPC, that's the Paperboard Packaging Council, is going to host in November in Vancouver. So I'd love to also mention that Hilda is the current vice chair and the incoming chair of PPC. So as you can see, everybody is sort of intersected between TPC, Hilda's company, and PPC, the organization. So, Hilda, why don't you just to get us started, talk a little bit about your company, TPC Packaging.
Sure, thank you. We are 100 years old, 100-year-old company. We just turned 100 in 2024, had a great celebration last November. I'm part of the third generation of the family, and Blaes Green is fourth generation. We have three other members of our family that are fourth generation. And so I and my three brothers own TPC, and we have evolved into a luxury packaging entity. We do a great deal of work with cosmetics, with spirits, with over-the-counter pharmaceuticals, health and beauty, and now collectible cards. And we we just opened a rigid division about 4 years ago. So we have rigid manufacturing and folding carton all under one roof. A lot of times you find that this type of situation, you're bringing in printed sheets from the outside. We do all of our own printed wraps, so we have the control of that. So we're really excited to be going into this part of the packaging world, and just excited to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to give you a little bit of background on our company.
Excellent. And I've seen those, and I will say award-winning designs and products that you make down there. Super impressive. Man, I wish I could describe or wish people could see some of the examples of what you do now at TPC, but some great embellishment, high quality, high end products that really, I think, really bespeak the value of what's inside the box.
Thank you.
I'm so humble about it. I just kicked you a plug there, and okay, that's just what we do every single day.
I've got it. We could probably show a couple of, Blaes, why don't you put a couple of things on the table? But yeah, we do a lot of high-end embellished. We have some technology that's not readily available, in any other place. We do embellishment with silk screen, we do embellishment with stamping, we do digital embellishment with Skodex, which is a Israeli technology. A lot of card and packaging entities have that. Blaes is just putting on the table, just some of the things that we've done recently. And this particular one that is completely a digital embellished package, and that is a digital foil. So a lot of fun projects. Our customers challenge us every single day to get something on the shelf that will jump off the shelf. So that's kind of our goal here.
Well, in this case, I wish we had a video podcast, because the example that you just showed is one of those packages you look at and go, man, and number one, that must have been expensive. But number two, how the heck did they do that? It's really, really a beautiful presentation for the products that go in it. What I think is really cool about it is, among other things, the technology is really cool, but the artistry that goes into it as well. And just being able, as you said, to put on some substrate, this concept that an artist and designer had in their head is really amazing. So congratulations on having an operation that can do all that for your customers. So and you're going to be humble again and just say thanks. That's what we do. I know. I'll just fill in the blank. So Emily, Hilda is certainly an important part of the Paperboard Packaging Council, but I'd love for you to just introduce it to folks that may not be familiar with it. And I'll just preface it by saying, you and I got together maybe a year ago now to get to know each other, but I've just been impressed with the not only the image and the membership of PPC, but the programs that you put on. And again, we're going to talk about a conference coming up in not too many months in Vancouver. So take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I mean, I'm really excited to be here on site here in Chattanooga, and I think that's maybe one of the most important things that I can do in my role is come out, walk the floor, visit the plant, meet the people, and understand what's happening behind the scenes. And it is artistry. It's pretty incredible. So the Paperboard Packaging Council is not as old as TPC, but pretty close. We're celebrating about 96 years as a trade association and organized to grow, promote, and protect the industry. So we represent North American suppliers of folding carton and rigid boxes, and it's a lot of fun. And this is probably the most fun part of my job is really getting to come here, visit, and learn about the processes. And Chris, to your point, there are so many things that go into making this gorgeous box. And so Blaes and Hilda and their team have spent the day with me, walking through their old building, their new building, introducing me to all of the people. They're experiencing the culture that really is behind their magic. And as it relates over to our programming, and you'll be joining us in Vancouver. We're so excited to go to Vancouver. You're absolutely right. Hilda is so humble because she is. TPC is typically an award winner. So at our fall meeting, we have our carton competition. And as a trade association, we've got lots of offerings for our members. It's the training, it's the networking, it's the peer-to-peer learning, but it's also industry promotion. And our carton competition is set up so that our members submit their award-winning designs, the best of the best. And Chris, you'll be able to actually pick up some of these packages in Vancouver and look at them and touch them and feel them and understand why packaging is so incredible. And to your point, such a brand for customers and brand owners. And we get to host a competition so that we can showcase the innovation in the industry, make all of us better, and also showcase our members and their teams and what they're doing every single day to elevate the industry.
Well, and the operators are so proud of it, and even though they're humble in Hilda's case, because there is a ton that goes into it just to make it get right and perfect every time. And so that's another cool thing about the industry is this convergence of artistry, psychology in the form of making sure your customers appreciate the brand value, pick that product off the shelf, and then all of the technology that makes it all happen. It's truly an amazing convergence, I think, and a lot of proud folks, and rightly so.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with it too, Chris. I mean, I think this year we entered 10 or 11 cartons, and to me they were all award-winning. And I hope we walk off with the Oscar for one or two of them. And like you say, we have been known to pick up a few awards at these competitions, but we really think it's an honor to be recognized among our peers. And when you go, you'll see the broad spectrum of just excellence that's coming out of this industry. And as we said, it's a meeting that we all look forward to. It's the kind of the who's who of the entire industry, all of our peers, and a lot of our suppliers that we really enjoy networking with, throughout. And the thing I really like is that the women's leadership in this industry has really grown in numbers. You'll notice, I mean, when I first started coming to the meetings maybe 15 years ago or so, there were very few women in leadership positions, and we have grown. I would say that we will be at maybe 40%, and we have a really nice women's leadership group that's a wonderful networking opportunity for the women in packaging. So I'm really, really proud of that, and it's going to be a fun year to lead the organization along with Emily, and to really try to recruit some additional companies. It's really the epitome of packaging as far as an industry type of operation, and Emily's team does an unbelievable job of supporting us. So I really look forward to seeing you there. You're going to have a great time, and you'll be with the best of the best.
Excellent. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the conference, because when you talk about networking, Hilda, I agree with you that happens. But what's special about it in printing and packaging is that it's almost like people leave their team jersey at home, and they forget that they compete with each other in some fashion, and they just get down and help each other in a way. They help each other solve technical problems, trade information about, who's got the best press, or who's got the best functionality for software, etc. And they really just kind of help each other solve for problems and find ways to do business with each other in many cases. Is that something you've experienced at the PPC conferences too?
Absolutely. I mean, we have, I would say that all of our competitors, they're there, that we're all friendly competitors, and I have no problem picking up the phone and talking to, someone at Southern Champion Trade, which is here in Chattanooga, Brian Hunt, if we have any kind of HR, issue that I think might be a common one that they are a lot more sophisticated in than we are. I know during COVID we shared best practices as far as safety, and that was really part of PPC actually hosting a weekly or bi-weekly meeting with all the leadership, and how we were able to basically survive that very surreal time. We've served as backup for some of our members, as far as someone has a press down, we'll take on their press issues. We have actually used one of our members when we had a fire to help us with some damage control. Even I think this week we actually sheeted some paper for Southern Champion Trade. So everyone is in the same boat, in it together. We have some really good friends that are direct competitors of ours that have actually sent us some overflow business. And it's just incredible, the friendships that we've maintained and nurtured. I mean, it's an incredible experience, an incredible group of people.
And I would dare say that if not for Paperboard Packaging Council, you might not know a lot of these folks or know them as well as you do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Blaes and I just got back from a conference that I think, she can speak to a little bit as far as, again, additional opportunity for leadership and networking.
Well, I think Hilda, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head about community and, all creating one community. All of our, manufacturers come together, supported by our suppliers, right, who are bringing leading innovation. But you talked about Women's Leadership Council, and then I think it's just so important to say, how are we kind of carving out these smaller interest groups? So women in leader, how are we bringing them together to think together? Designers, how are we bringing them together? How are we bringing safety together? And so Blaes just came back from TPC Next, which is our leadership conference, and I think that I'd love for you to talk about what you took away from our leadership conference. And we have kind of a wraparound emerging leaders event at our fall meeting in Vancouver as well. So it's trying to find those ties, find those communities, and bring together, spark kind of small communities of interest, if you will, for your benefit.
I have had the pleasure of attending fall and spring meetings, and then just recently attending the Leadership Summit. And one of my favorite things about the fall and spring meetings is the breakout groups with the more focused ideas. So I really enjoyed going to the Leadership Summit, which was, I think, 2 or 3 days of just leadership-focused speakers, leadership-focused breakout groups. The group of people who attended were leaders from every level of the industry, which I really appreciated. I sat at a table with someone who was managing the logistics of his company, and then I sat with someone else who was managing everything at their company. So that was really nice to have kind of a breadth of knowledge and experiences to bounce things off of each other, and just get to know other people in the industry.
And I feel like those kinds of experiences, they're more valuable than school in a sense, because you're really learning at sort of a graduate level from people that have done these things before, tried things and made mistakes and learned from them. And you're really benefiting from all of that process that each of those individuals goes through, and really developing your own set of best practices around that learning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and coming from a company that is a family-owned business, we don't have the scaffolding, the infrastructure that some larger corporations are operating around, and so we do look to see how other people in the industry are approaching different things. That is important to us.
Well, the good news on the other end of the spectrum is that as a business of your size, you're a lot more nimble and and you have the ability to respond to your customers into the marketplace, because you don't have to go through levels and levels of, bureaucracy and complication.
Mm-hmm. That really does lend itself well, even at like the design level. You're very complimentary of the work that we're doing, and that's only because we've got customers that are challenging us to do better every single time, and to make things a little more complex and make things jump off of the shelves for them.
Yeah, and they hear about the technology, and customers are demanding, and they think that you can do anything, right? But you're taking those ideas and those concepts and really applying all that with the technology and the experience to make it happen. So, but yeah, thanks to PPC, you're also getting that leadership training for, coming up as the next generation in TPC. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, that kind of experience probably doesn't exist outside Paperboard Packaging Council, I don't think. The ability to come together with your peers and people that have been through the business before is so fantastic.
Yeah, it feels like a niche industry until you get to speak with other people who are in it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's a lot bigger than you think. I mean, virtually every product we buy comes in a package, right? It's kind of cool to be at the high end and making these really complicated and challenging packaging designs, but nevertheless, no matter what segment of the market you're in, whether it's corrugated or fine folding box, it's still a process. It's still something that we deal with every single day, and producers have to deal with every day too. So very cool. Speaking of education, though, Emily, let's circle back to the conference, which we haven't even discussed the dates. That's going to be November. And we'll say this a few times, but November 5th through the 7th up in Vancouver, British Columbia, that is. So there's a lot of other reasons to go besides seeing the awards ceremony. Let's talk about the educational tracks.
Absolutely. So, November 5th through 7th, we're staying at the JW Marriott. It's absolutely beautiful. We're planning our off-site adventure as we speak. So it's going to be remarkable, a great time to come together, spend time with friends, meet new friends, learn about the kind of cutting edge technology. Our suppliers, our associate members always show up to be able to kind of showcase the best in class, what we have to look forward to. And then from the stage, we have just an amazing speaker lineup. We've got an economist who's going to provide an update, a forecast. I know that our PPC members are always listening.
So eager.
Yeah, so eager to hear what are the forecasts for the future. How can we be making smarter decisions? We've got some leadership topics. We've got some topics around sustainability. We're going to be learning about extended producer responsibility and taking lessons from our friends in Vancouver and taking a look at what does that mean today in North America. And then Chris, I'm delighted to say that you'll be hitting the stage. Can you talk to us about what we can expect from you?
Yeah. I'm just so excited to be able to share some information and experiences with your members. I've been an outside general counsel in the packaging and printing spaces for a long time, and I want to share some of the things that we see across that client base in terms of issues of risk, especially ones that relate to things like contracts and human resources and how you manage your people and your relationships, and provide some takeaways in terms of how can people manage those things, manage those issues so that they, in some respects, convert from a liability into an opportunity. Whenever people hear about legal issues, they'll push back from the table, and it's frightening to some people, and rightly so. But what we want to do is recognize the issues, identify them, and let's figure out how to solve for them, hopefully in a preventive way. So I think it all starts with knowledge about what those issues are and figuring out what we can do to, not only minimize the risk to the organization, but again, take your knowledge of that risk and the action plans and turn it into a positive. So that's a really high level way of describing, I think, what we do every single day. We just want to partner with our clients as well as our friends in the business to help them do their business without falling in a hole and hurting their business.
Thank you, Chris. I know that we talked about this last time we spoke. I feel like your values are very much aligned with the values of community and coming together to grow, promote, protect the industry, making us all better. So we're excited to learn from you, grow together, and I think it's just important that we're all here working together. It's like how do we share? How do we share, learn, and grow, and so that we can all make for a better industry every single day?
That's exactly it. We want to take all that unnecessary noise out of the equation and let folks like Hilda and Blaes get back to business and make awesome products.
Exactly.
And stop worrying about stuff that is out there that you may not understand unless you hear about it from somebody that's been through it. So I think it'll be a lot of fun for the discussion. And on my side, I always learn from you folks. Every single time I talk to interesting people like you, I pick up something, some nugget of knowledge that, helps shape my thinking around how do we work with our clients and how do we work with the industry more effectively. So I'm looking forward to that learning as well. So one thing I want to mention, by the way, so I started looking at flights to Vancouver, and it is not difficult. So if anybody is worried about traveling to Vancouver, you're probably worrying about something that's not necessary. So easy to get there, super easy to get there. and going to be beautiful when we get there for sure.
That's what we're hearing. Knock on wood, we have more registered attendees than at this time than any year in the past. So we think it's going to be a really popular destination, a great time to come together and celebrate our award winners, celebrate community, learn from one another. There's also a tour at Great Little Box Company. So again, in the spirit of making us all better and opening up our doors, we'll be doing a plant visit on the Friday of our Vancouver fall meeting. So it's really going to be just a great time together, and looking forward to seeing everyone, and just thankful to be here, thankful to TPC for Hilda specifically for your leadership and helping kind of craft the future of our industry.
Excellent. So, and how can folks learn more about the conference and about the Paperboard Packaging Council?
Yep, paperbox.org /fall will bring you right to the Vancouver registration page.
Excellent. And TPC Packaging, Hilda, how can folks find you on the internet?
www.tpcpackaging.com.
Simple and easy. Like you make the lives of your clients too.
Yeah, or just
simple.
Google TPC Packaging.
Yeah,
that's the
Good deal.
easiest way. Come straight to our website.
Excellent. Well, folks, thank you so much for an opportunity to highlight our friendship, our connection, and all the great things that you're doing for the industry as well as your clients. Hilda, Emily, and Blaes, it's been a great conversation. So thanks for joining the podcast.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
And this has been the Think Factory podcast powered by OGC Solutions. We'll see you next time.